Hey Realtors, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the 3 best ways to use AI to automate your business for you. AI is obviously changing the way that everybody does business, whether it's real estate agents or somebody else, but specifically for real estate agents, it's allowing you to automate so many different parts of your business that you had to spend hours and hours every single week doing. Some things are more simple, like writing drafts to your emails and adding events to your calendars, but then there's other much more complicated things that AI can do for you, like creating property reports, generating leads for you, and even getting AI to do all of your lead follow-up and qualifying for you. And once you add all these different automations and AI tools and AI agents into your business, it's gonna save you so much time that you're gonna be able to put towards getting more buyers, more listings, and servicing your clients better. So first, I'm just gonna give you a quick breakdown of what these 3 methods are, and then we're gonna actually hop into my computer and I'm gonna show you all the specifics around them. So the very first method that I would recommend to implementing AI and automations into your business is just to sign up for a few different apps that are gonna make your life a whole lot easier. Now, this is gonna vary depending on your business and what you normally do inside of your business, how you market, how you service your clients, etc. But there's so many new AI tools out there that just signing up for a few of them and starting to use them could save you an hour or 2 every single week. Maybe you create property tour videos for your social media and you use an AI tool to just make the editing process faster. Or maybe instead you use a tool to put on really good looking captions so that you don't have to go in and edit each individual caption on top of your video. Or maybe a lot of your business comes from Facebook ads and you want to be able to use an AI tool to kind of decipher your ads and see what's working, what's not, and give you recommendations for future ads. Either way, no matter how your business is set up or what type of procedures you have inside of your business, I guarantee there's at least 1 or 2 AI tools that you could start using to save you a lot of time and probably a lot of headache. Now, the second method that I would recommend is to use a tool like either make.com or Zapier to automate a lot of your internal processes that you're already doing. This could be more simple tasks like transferring lead data from your Facebook Business Manager to your CRM, or maybe you want to get a little bit more technical and setting up something like a CRM trigger. So when a new lead enters your CRM, then you make something else happen in a different app. There's a ton of different ways that you can go about automating your processes inside of these automation platforms. So once we hop into my computer, I'm going to show you a few different methods that I would recommend starting with. And then the third and probably most effective method for utilizing AI inside of your business to automate things is to get an AI agent created for you or to teach yourself how to create your own. Now, if you're not familiar with what an AI agent is, essentially it's an AI system that can actually go out and perform tasks for you and uses an AI model as basically its brain to learn and get better and figure out how to use all the different tools and functionalities that you program into it. The difference between an automation and an AI agent is with an automation, you're setting a path for data or something to be transferred through, and there might be a little bit of AI involved, but essentially you're saying, this piece of data coming from this app is going to take these different steps and get over here into this app. Where an AI agent differs is you can think of it in the same scenario where you have certain data from a specific app and then you're giving it to that AI agent and you're saying, hey, here's the data, do what's best, and with all these different tools and functionalities that I'm giving you, I want you to go out and just make it happen. And then it's going to use its AI brain to actually go do all these things for you in the best way possible. For example, we built AI agents for realtors that handle the lead qualification side of their business. So anytime a new lead comes in from anywhere, whether it's Facebook or email, Instagram, directly into their CRM from Zillow or from homes.com, wherever that new lead is coming in, it's going to intake that lead into its AI brain, and then it's going to figure out, okay, what information has this person given me about whether they're looking to buy or looking to sell, what's their search criteria, or what are the details of the property they're looking to sell. And then the AI is going to determine, okay, here are the answers to all these different questions that I need from this person. Now I'm going to go and reach out to them and figure out all these answers. So it's going to shoot them a text or an email or maybe both. Could even do a Facebook message, and it's going to start asking them these questions and qualifying these clients so that the only time that the realtor has to actually reach out to them is when that person is fully qualified and has all of the check boxes ticked off, so to speak, saving the realtor a ton of time from having to, communicate back and forth only to realize that the lead is sort of a dead end or not going anywhere, or even worse, it's, a fake email or a fake phone number. The AI just takes care of all of that for them. You can imagine how much time that would save you if you never had to talk to a dead lead ever again. Another AI agent that a lot of realtors use is like a marketing agent. So you can think of these as like if you were to hire a marketing manager in your business. So they're going to post the social media for you, they're going to actually create the posts, write the captions, write the blogs, give you all the social media analytics, basically just handle all of your social media or your marketing side of things and communicate back and forth with you about what's happening on the marketing side, what posts are getting good feedback, which ones aren't. Maybe give you suggestions about what type of videos to film. Honestly, the best way to think about an AI agent is basically just replacing an employee that you would hire in your business. So that might be your personal assistant, that might be a marketing coordinator, it might be a virtual assistant that you're getting to follow up with all your leads that are coming in. You can use AI to fill that role for you at a way cheaper cost with less mistakes, and the AI works 365 days a year and never takes a single day off and works 24 hours a day. So that's why I say AI agents are probably the most powerful method out of all three, because you basically get a more than full-time employee at a fraction of what a part-time employee would cost. So now that we've briefly gone over each method, we're gonna hop into my computer and I'm gonna show you a few different apps that you can sign up for today and start using that'll save you some time in your business. Okay, so we're inside my computer right now. I'm gonna show you a few different apps that I've used in my business that I recommend other realtors use in their business. All of these apps that I'm showing you are super easy to use. You can literally just sign up and start using. There's no coding experience, there's no AI experience required, nothing like that. They're super straightforward. So that's why I'm recommending them to you. So let's hop in. So the first one that I'm gonna show you is called aihomedesign.com. And it allows you to do a few different things that realtors normally pay a decent amount of money for. So the first is virtual staging of their photos. So if you're, listing a property that is vacant or maybe a brand new property, this will allow you to virtually stage the home for super cheap. Also doing the kind of dusk to dawn photos that some realtors will use for their very first listing image, like where you put a nice sunset in the background of your house and all that. This allows you to do that as well. And it also allows you to remove items. So maybe there's a really ugly piece of furniture, maybe there's some art on the wall that is kind of explicit or whatever it is, you can remove stuff out of there as well. So I'm just going to show you how to sign up super quick and you'll be able to see sort of what it does. So this is the main page here. You can see you got virtual staging, image enhancement, data dusk, and item removal. The pricing, if we go to the pricing, you can see it is super cheap. The cheapest pricing is $19 per month, and that's 30 photos per month. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, when I was listing properties, I was paying my photographer to do the virtual staging for me, and it cost me $50 per photo. $50 per photo. This is like less than $2 a photo, which is just insane. Obviously, as you go up, it gets a bit cheaper and you get a few more different features as well. So feel free to explore those. You also get 51% off if you pay yearly. So if you're listing a lot of properties and you want to do a lot of virtual staging, it's super cheap. They do let you try it out for free with a few photos, which we're going to do right now. So I can show you what that's like. I think you get like 5 free photos or 6 free photos, which is really cool. So I'm just going to sign up with my Google email. Super easy. I'm sure you've done that a million times, so I'm not going to show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm signed up. That took about 7 seconds. So we're already ahead of the game here. We're going to try virtual staging first. So I'm going to click on that. All you got to do is upload your photo. I just went on Google really quick and I found this photo of a vacant house. So we're just going to use that so I can show you what that's going to look like. So we're going to upload the photo here, and then you can click if you want to remove any furniture. You can choose what kind of space it is so that it knows how to stage it. Judging by this photo, it's a dining room. So we're going to click dining room, and then you can choose the style: modern, contemporary, Scandinavian. There's lots of different styles. We're going to do a farmhouse style. See what that looks like. Okay, and then we're just gonna click generate. All right, so it's all finished. I think that took like 2 minutes maybe, which isn't bad. So this is the first photo that it comes up with. It gives you a few options. This is another one, boom. And this is another one. I mean, it's pretty damn good, right? Like, see if I can just zoom in. Like that looks pretty good. I mean, it looks just as good as any other virtually staged property that I've seen. And then you can download it there, super easy. Obviously you have to have paid version to not have the watermark over top and all these kind of cross stitching things, but if you paid for it, then it wouldn't have that. You can remove items. I want to try doing a living room just to see how good that could be. So I'm just going to Google empty living room because I don't have any vacant listing photos of my own right now. So let's do, so I found this one here. So we're going to try that out and see how that looks. So let's just go back. We're going to upload that photo. Okay, great. And then this time it's a living room and we're going to do, I don't know, Scandinavian. Let's try that. Click generate and there we go. So we got this photo here first. We got this one as the second and that is the third. So that looks pretty good. For $1 or $1.50, whatever this costs you, I mean, huge savings. So that's the first app that I would recommend. The second AI app that I recommend you use in your real estate business is called fireflies.ai. Now there are a few different apps that do kind of the same thing. I personally use Fireflies. I think it's the best one, but feel free to experiment with others. There's Otter AI, there's Fathom, there's a few different ones. But I like fireflies.ai. Basically what it does is it sits inside of your Zoom calls or your Google Meet calls, and it's going to record the entire thing so that you can listen to it back if you want to. It'll also create you a transcript of the entire call, break down important notes, and you can further use that in an automation to create things like checklists and buyer criterias and seller notes and things like that. So just on their main page here, you can see kind of a example of what one of their transcripts looks like. So it gives you an overview of what happened, specific notes about it, timestamps about each person talking and what they said. It's also really helpful if you need to go back to something, like let's say you had a call with a seller and they were saying some important details about the granite or the wood that was used in building their home and you forgot that. You can go back into the transcript and you can see exactly what they said. It's got 100 plus different languages, auto language detection, speaker recognition, and it does work really, really well. I don't think I've ever had an issue with it, detecting the wrong person speaking or anything like that. It always does a really, really good job. And it breaks down everything for you, all the important notes, kind of summarizes the whole call, and then you can also see the entire thing word by word as well. So it just makes it super, super easy, and you don't have to be writing notes while you're on a call with a client because it just does it for you. So instead, you can just focus on talking to the client, having good eye contact and being personable rather than head down writing notes, that kind of stuff. As for pricing with something like this, super cheap as well. There's a free version, there's a $10 version, $19 and $39. These are all USD as well, by the way. Like anything else, you get more features as you tier up, but yeah, super, super cheap and saves you time with having to write notes, go back to your notes, look through it all, just makes it really easy. And you can also connect it to something like make.com or Zapier to maybe a open AI module or something like that that's going to take that information and further do something with it. So let's say you had a Zoom call with a seller, you can then take that, hook it up to your CRM so that all the important details of their property is then sort of parsed out of it by the AI and then put into the leads section of your CRM. Just one way that you could use this inside of an automation, but even on its own, just as an app, it's super, super handy. Another thing you can have it do is you can have it send those video transcripts and note summaries to everyone who is on the call. So that way your clients will also get those summaries. And I found that it kind of just adds to that first impression that they have with you, that, as soon as they're finished their call with you, they immediately get a transcript of the call with important notes. It's kind of just another wow factor that they can get from you. So that's the second app that I would recommend you using. The third app that I would recommend that you start using in your real estate business is perplexity.ai. Now you may have used this one before, it's pretty popular, but if you haven't, You can think of Perplexity as like a ChatGPT, but for real-time information and research. So rather than giving you a response based off of all the information that's been trained on, like ChatGPT does, instead it's going to give you a response that is based off of it going out and searching the web off of what information is currently out there. So basically it does the research for you. So how and why you would use something like this? Well, let's say that someone wants you to sell a home in an area that you're not very familiar with. You can use it to do some research on the area. You can also use it to pull things like market stats or like property recommendations from, sites like Zillow and things like that. Obviously, if you're a real estate agent, you have access to the MLS, which will show you all that information. But the bonus with something like this is it's going to do the research for you and write it all out so that you can then export that as like a PDF or, copy and paste it into a report that you're building. So I'm going to say I have a client who wants me to sell a property in San Diego, California. I'm not familiar with the area. Can you give me as much information about real estate stats and trends, home prices, property values, real estate regulations, anything else that I can include in the market report for the client? And so what it's going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to search the web for information that matches that criteria. But the great thing about Perplexity is it also cites everything that it reads. So you can go and you can check the website of where that information came from, make sure that you're happy with it, you think the information is accurate, it was a reputable source, that kind of stuff. And the deep research model that I used gives you kind of this step-by-step play-by-play of what it's doing. So it says, I need to search the web to gather comprehensive real estate stats and trends. I found valuable insights. I found valuable information. It tells you as it's going along everything that it's thinking, everything that's researching, everything it's doing. So you can actually kind of see what the mindset of the AI was as it was going and researching all this stuff. And then once it's done, it's going to put together this whole report for you. So then we're going to say San Diego real estate market analysis and comprehensive report. It's going to give me, a bunch of stats and figures. As of March 2025, median home price in San Diego stands $1,030,000, 11.4% year-over-year increase. And then it's going to give me a bunch more information as well. Regional variations in home values, regulatory landscape and policy updates. And yeah, it basically, does the research for you so that you can either then go and copy and paste this stuff, or maybe you just want to use it to verify some information, or you can go down here and you can click export and you can export it as a PDF if you want, and you can use it that way. Now, this is also a really great tool to pair with what I'm about to show you next, the next tool that I'm going to show you. And you would pair that inside of like a Zapier or Make.com. Then after that, if you export it or copy and paste or whatever, you can also see, other questions that people have asked that are kind of similar to that. You can also make it search through videos over here, search through images. You can make it generate an image, which is the pro version, which I'm not on right now. But let's just say if I search videos, then it's going to pull up a bunch of YouTube videos that have to do with, San Diego real estate and stuff like that. So it basically just does all the research for you so that you don't have to. If you were to put a prompt like this into ChatGPT, it would spit out an answer for you, but it wouldn't necessarily be as up to date. So that is Perplexity AI. Highly recommend that you start using it for any of your market research, or even if it's something like, you're trying to research your competitors or research, video ideas maybe. You could use it to like look at what other people are making videos of in your specific niche. There's so many different ways that you can use Perplexity. And just like, Claude or like OpenAI, you have your spaces where you can create more of kind of a custom version and give the AI some instructions on, how it should be doing its research and things like that. So you can really hone in what it is that it's doing and, start to have a different space for like market research versus competitive research versus marketing ideas and things like that. Now, the last AI app that I'm going to recommend to you is called Gamma. It's at gamma.app is the website that you go to, and basically it's AI for presentations and slide decks. So this will allow you to create an AI presentation super quickly and with basically no work to you. So whether it's a seller presentation, a buyer presentation, market research, an online brochure for an open house, whatever it is, this does a really good job of creating it. You just put in, specific information, specific parameters, and it'll create it for you. In fact, our AI playbook that we send to real estate agents is made on Gamma. So you can see this is the type of presentation that it creates. And, you can get more technical with it, add in pictures and things like that. You can do, graphs and all that kind of jazz. But you can see like just how good it looks, how professional it looks, and how much information you can pack into these presentations. So rather than, you or your team or your assistant taking hours to create a specific listing presentation for your next listing appointment, or, a property brochure for an open house or whatever it is, just let AI do it for you in a matter of seconds. Like it's pretty crazy. So if you are the type that is spending too much time making presentations, or you want to up your presentation game and be sending more of them to more people, then I highly recommend you check out gamma.app. So those are just some apps that I recommend you can start using, but there are so many out there that you can look into. There's probably a lot that I haven't even found yet because there's new ones coming out every single day. Best thing you can do is, do some research or just ask around, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that can make some recommendations for you, but those are just a few that I've used myself and I know work really well and can save you some time. Next, we're gonna hop into my computer and I'm gonna give you actually a quick rundown of how to use Make.com. Make.com is the automation platform that I prefer. I like it more than Zapier. I think it's just easier to use, a bit more powerful. I like the pricing structure better. Zapier does have more native integrations, but if you know how to do some integrations that aren't pre-built into the system, then I think Make.com is better. But either way, the concepts that I'm going to show you in Make.com are applicable to Zapier as well. It's just kind of the look and the format of it all is a little bit different. So we're going to hop into Make.com. I'm going to show you how it all works. And then I'm going to show you a few different automations that you can use inside of your business right away. So we hopped into my Make.com account. Like I said, Make.com is the automation platform that I personally like. You can use Zapier as well. A lot of people use Zapier. I just prefer Make.com. But a lot of the concepts that I'm going to be showing you in terms of different terminology and how to use different data and access it can be applied to Zapier as well. It's just the interface and how it's done is a little bit different from platform to platform. But if you're a Zapier person, you can still stick around because the concepts are going to still apply here. But first, I'm going to show you a quick run through of Make.com, how to kind of use the platform and what everything looks like once you're creating a automation. So I'm logged in. I'm just going to click create a new scenario so that we are starting fresh. And what you're going to see is basically this. It's just going to be a purple dot and a little toolbar down here, and that's it. So first thing I always recommend doing is renaming it. So on the top left here, just click there and rename it. I'm just going to call this one video example. And now what the heck is going on here? So let's go kind of piece by piece. So on the left, you have your toolbar here. You have your team, which is the screen that I was just on. Just kind of shows you a little summary of what's going on inside of your team or your account. You have organization, which basically does the same thing if you only have one team. So it doesn't really matter. Scenarios are all the different automations that you have. So if I click on scenarios here, you can see all the different stuff that I have created, some of which are turned on, some of which aren't. And then on the left is folders, just to help keep things organized as well. I'll give you a run through of all of this later, but let's just go back to creating a scenario. After scenarios on the toolbar, you have your templates, which are any templates that you build or you import. You have your connections. So as you're adding all these different modules that I'm going to show you in a second, you have to connect to your accounts. So connections just keeps track of all your different accounts. And then you have a few other kind of more technical things here as well, which we're not going to go over because if you're not going too heavy into this automation stuff, you won't really need much of that. On this screen, which is the one you're going to be dealing with the most, this is the scenario screen. You have a big purple bubble here. This is where your scenario is going to start. So it's going to be your trigger is the first thing that you're adding. Now, important thing before we get started, there's two different kinds of modules that you can add. There is a trigger module and there's an action module. So a trigger module is what starts the entire automation. So something happens in a certain app and that triggers the automation to start. And then your action modules are anything that happens after that. So any action that is taken after the trigger happens. When we open it up, we're first going to want to put in our trigger module. Now you can scroll through all the different connections that make.com already has. You can also put in your own if you start going into open APIs of different tools that you're using. We're not going to cover that right now because that's a lot more technical, but there are so many different modules that you can already start using that are built into make.com. For example, there's Google Sheets if you want to do something with your Google Sheets. There's Dropbox, maybe if you want to, be adding files to your Dropbox and things like that. There's LinkedIn, there's Gmail, Monday.com if you're using that for your organization, your Google Calendar, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. There's so many. Even if you're doing like your CRM, let's say, then you have your Pipedrive CRM. I don't know if you're using that or not, but if you do, great. There's Follow Up Boss if you're using Follow Up Boss for your CRM. A lot of the big platforms are already on here. But basically, once you choose the app that you're trying to connect with, then you're going to see your modules. So for this example, we're going to do, let's say Google Sheets. So once I click Google Sheets, then you're going to see all the different options that you can do here depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So you have to just go down and figure out which one you're trying to do. So, there's watch new rows, and it'll give you a little description here. Triggers when a new row is added. You can add a row, you can update a row, you can bulk add rows, you can search through all the different rows, delete, clear, watch changes in a row. There's lots and lots of different things that you can start with. We're going to say watch new rows. And once that gets added in, and once you've clicked that and that gets added in, then you're going to see this little module here, and it's going to pop up this screen. Now, I've already got my account connected. If you don't already have your account connected, then you just click the little add button on the side. And for a lot of the tools, you can just log in straight through make.com. Like for Google, you just log in with your Google credentials. Some of them are going to ask for more technical things like a secret key or an access token or things like that, in which case you can either just Google how to get that from that particular app, or sometimes there'll be a little link underneath that will give you instructions on how to get it. But for the sake of this video and for the sake of time, we're just going to stick to easy stuff, which is the Google modules. So I've connected my account here. Then next we have all the different sort of boxes that have to be filled out or can be filled out in order for this module to work. So this module that we're doing watches for new rows that are created in a spreadsheet, meaning it's going to keep its eye on this particular spreadsheet that I've created, and every time a new row pops up, then it's going to trigger this automation. So in order to do that, we have to tell it what sheet we want to do, obviously, right? So in order to tell it what sheet it is, we just have to basically give it the location of the sheet. So the sheet is located in my Google Drive. Here you just click your spreadsheet ID. Let's just say 2022 other expenses, sure. Sheet name, there's only one sheet in there, sheet 1, great. Whether or not it contains headers in the sheet. If yes, then where are those headers? And then how many rows you want it to come up with when this thing gets triggered. So let's just say you put 5 new rows into your spreadsheet all at once. Do you want this to trigger with all 5 rows, or do you want it to only be one by one? Or do you want it to be 2 or 3 or 4? So for example, if I just put 1 here, it's only going to do the first row that it comes up with when a new one is created. However you're going to set it up, you just click save afterwards, and then that is it. Once you have your module in here, you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see a little plus button on the side, and you're going to see a little clock or sometimes a lightning bolt on the left. If it's a lightning bolt, that means that this automation will trigger instantly as soon as this thing happens. Now this thing is going to vary depending on the module you choose, but the lightning bolt just means instantly, whereas the clock means it's going to happen at regular intervals. Now, some apps will allow you to do an instant trigger, or like a webhook it's called, and some apps won't. So for Google Sheets, for example, you can't do an instant trigger, but what you can do is you can have this scenario look at your Google Sheet every so often. So its default is every 15 minutes, but you can put it as low as 1 minute if you want. So every single minute, it's going to look at this Google Sheet to see if there's a new row in there. So you can change it however you want to do it. You can also, add in additional scheduling from certain times of the day and certain days of the week, certain months of the year, that kind of stuff. But this basically just allows you to schedule the automation how you want it to be scheduled. Also, it's important to note that every time that this thing looks at the Google Sheet for a new row, that counts as one run in your scenario. So just keep in mind, if you have a free account, I think that gives you 1,000 workflow runs, let's call them. So if you're doing this every single minute of the day, you're going to run out of that 1,000 really quickly, because it's going to use one every time it looks at it, plus another one for every other module that it needs to do in this automation. So anyways, going back to this, the plus sign on the side allows you to add additional steps in this automation. So let's just say for this example that this Google Sheets represents our CRM. Obviously, Google Sheets is not a good CRM, but we're just going to say, in terms of having new client data enter into a database, we're going to pretend that this Google Sheets is our CRM. We want to connect that to MailChimp so that we can add that new person to a subscription list inside of our MailChimp so that they start getting our beautifully designed emails. So we're going to type in MailChimp, we're going to click that, and then from there we're going to choose the action we want to do. Do we want to create a campaign, update a campaign, perform, get a campaign? You can see there's a bunch of stuff you can do with subscribers. That's what we want to do here, right? We're going to add or update a subscriber, so we're going to click that. Then you're just going to connect your account again, and then you're going to go down and you're just going to select which list you're adding them to, which subscription list you want the person to be added to. Let's say the agreed and waiting list, and then you're going to put in their email address, which you're going to pull from this Google Sheet. Now, how do you do that? Well, anytime that you click into a text box on a module, it's going to open up any of the information that was collected from this last module. So if I clicked in here, let's just say it was my CRM, right here would show all the different columns in your CRM. So like first name, last name, phone number, property type, address, all that stuff, it would all pop up here. In this case, because I'm using Google Sheets, it only shows kind of these generic columns in my Google Sheets because I haven't actually set it up. But all you would have to do is you just click on the one that contains the email. So let's just say that my email was contained here. I just click on that and it's going to put this in. So now this is a dynamic variable, meaning that this changes every time that this whole automation runs. So now you don't have to fill in each person's email every single time. It's going to automatically fill it in for you based off of what email was in that specific row that was pulled from this module. And you would just keep going along, filling in, their first name, their last name, their email address, fill out, yeah, we want them to be subscribed. Great. Are they a VIP? Yes or no? Are we going to add a tag to them? All this different stuff. Then when you're finished, you just click save on the bottom, and you can stop it there if you just want it to be a two-step automation, or you can keep adding to it, right? Maybe you want to then send an email to the rest of your team saying, hey, this new lead has been added to our MailChimp subscription list. We can go to your Gmail module and you can create a draft email, or if you don't want to just create a draft, then you can send an email. So you can actually get the automation to actually fully send it. And then you would just click that, you'd go in, connect your account, and then same thing. You'd fill in the subject, the content, all that kind of stuff. Now you can do a mix of dynamic content and standard text content. What do I mean by that? So let's say I want to say, hey everyone, this person has been added to our MailChimp subscription list. So I'm going to type, hey everyone, and then I need the person's name, but I need that to be dynamic so that it changes every time, right? It stays up to date. So then you would just click, hey everyone, full name. This is coming from MailChimp. So the full name variable has been added to our list. So this full name changes every time. So if one time it was John Smith, then it's going to say, hey everyone, John Smith has been added to our list. Next time it is Sally Smith, then it's going to say, hey everyone, Sally Smith has been added to our list. You get the point. It's dynamic content, so it's always changing depending on what was grabbed from this Google Sheet, or in your particular case, maybe from your CRM. You can also include an attachment in this Gmail module, but the possibilities are quite endless with an automation platform like this. You just really have to go through all the different modules that you can add and see what is possible. There's also a ton of information online from make.com, which is another reason why I love it so much, because so many people have built with it that if you're looking for a particular solution or a way to integrate something, somebody else has probably already done it, so you can just Google and figure it out from there. Now I'm just going to give you a rundown of this bottom toolbar here, tell you what that's all about, and then I'll show you some examples of some different automations that you can build. So first, starting on the left, we have the run button. So this allows you to run the scenario so you can test it out if you just click the play button. And if I do it right now, it's not gonna do anything because I haven't connected each module. But basically, as you're testing, you're gonna wanna run it so that you can feed in specific data, make sure everything's working correctly, that kind of stuff. So you would just click run once and it would run it. Now I'm just gonna delete this Gmail module because it's messing everything up. But if I click this button here, then that just schedules everything. You can see it won't let you schedule until you have saved it, which is this next button here. So this does not auto save, you have to save as you're going along. But now that I've saved it, I can click that and then I can set it up to run every 15 minutes or whatever. So now that this is on, it's gonna run every 15 minutes, which means every 15 minutes, it's gonna check my Google Sheet to see if there are any new rows that have been added. I'm gonna turn that off because I don't want this running. Beside that, like I said, is your save button. Next to that is scenario inputs. You don't need to worry about that. That's a bit more technical. Same with your scenario settings. You don't need to worry about that. The only thing I would really touch on here is you can flip to data is confidential. So if you're dealing with specific client data, then maybe you want to turn that on. Next, we have notes, which allow you to see any notes that you've added. To add a note, all you do is right click on a module and you can click add a note, and then you can put that in there. More so helps if your team is jumping in to check on things or to look at scenarios and you want to give them notes to look at. Previous versions just allows you to go back because there's no undo button. But just note, if you click the previous version, there's no forward button either. So don't click that unless you really want to delete everything and go back. Then this next button here, auto align. This is just kind of a handy button. If you have a bunch of modules, stretching out, sometimes it can get really sort of unorganized. For example, let's just say that I had this here, and then, I have a Gmail module, and this was like that. And I just want it to look pretty. I'm just gonna click that button, and it's just gonna, make everything straight and nice and pretty. If I click more, there's export blueprint and import blueprint. So export blueprint just allows you to export this entire thing so that you can, share the file or send it to somebody or whatever. It's gonna export it as a JSON file, which is kind of some computer code. So it's, more technical. It's not just gonna be like a picture like you see here or anything like that. And import blueprint allows you to import it. So if somebody else gives you a template, or if you're, looking on make.com's template marketplace and you see a template that you want to get, you're going to download it and then import it that way. Explain flow will just explain to you how the data is happening. So if I click on it, it's going to show a bubble here, and then it's going to show what path it takes. It's pretty simple when you only have 3 modules like this, but once you start to have 20, 30 modules all splitting off in different routers and conditions and things like that, then it gets kind of handy to have that just sort of show you what's happening with the data. Next to that, we have flow control. So these allow you to add modules that are built into make.com, which sort of do things with the data. So like an iterator will split off multiple packets of data. An aggregator will combine a bunch of data together. A router allows you to split off into multiple different paths like that. And then you have error handlers as well, which are a lot more technical. Next to that is tools. These are also built into make.com, and they just sort of allow you to do specific things with your data again. I'm not going to go over all these because it gets very technical, and for the sake of this video, I don't want to go that in depth. But there is a free academy that make.com offers. There's like 3 or 4 different tiers, depending on if you're a beginner, intermediate, expert, that kind of stuff. But the academy is totally free, and it will teach you everything you need to know in how to use make.com. So if you're serious about automating some of your systems in your business, I highly recommend checking out the Make.com Academy, and I will put the link to the Academy in the description below as well. So that's just a quick overview of Make.com so that you kind of have an idea of what you're looking at when you go into one of these scenarios and when I show you some of the templates for automations that I've built. So now let's hop into some of my automations so I can show you what those look like. So this is the first one that I'm going to show you. Now this is kind of a two-parter. And what I mean by that is there's two different automations that sort of make up one action that happens in my business. So for this particular one, what happens here is it takes in articles that come from an RSS feed. If you don't know what an RSS feed is, basically just a tool that will grab a bunch of articles and news updates and whatever else related to a specific topic that you want so that you kind of have it all in one place. So I have it set up So I have an RSS feed set up for real estate news in a specific region. And what it's going to do is every time a new article gets written about real estate in my specific city, it's going to add that as a new record inside of Airtable. If you don't know what Airtable is, it's just like a Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, only has a bunch of kind of AI and more technical features to it. It's basically a way more powerful Google Sheets. But anyways, it's going to add that as a new record to Airtable. And then it's going to go through AI to create a new description of that article for me and a title for that article. And then it's going to add all that back to Airtable, and it's going to text me and tell me that it's added this new thing to my Airtable. So why is it doing all this? The purpose of this is when a new article has been written about real estate news in my city, I want to be able to share that to LinkedIn. And I want to be able to basically provide my own commentary of it. So this takes the article, and then AI is going to write my commentary or my description of that article, and it's going to put a catchy title to it for me. Then it's going to add that all into Airtable and send me a text so that I can then go into Airtable on my phone, look at it and approve it to make sure that I like it. I can also set it to reword it if I want, but the main purpose here is so that I'm approving everything that I'm posting to my page. So once it sends me the message, I then go to Airtable and let's say that I click approve. Then what's going to happen is I have the second part of the automation, which is in Airtable, it detects when a new row has been set to approve. And then it's going to send all that information through to another OpenAI module, which is going to generate me an image. So that image is going to be the thumbnail that I use in my post when I post this article, right? So it's going to generate me a really cool AI generated image, and then it's going to post all of that to LinkedIn for me. So now my LinkedIn is constantly being updated with real estate news and trends that are happening in my city, with my own commentary and my own thumbnail attached to it. So I don't ever have to worry about, commenting on real estate news in my city because the AI will do it all for me. The next one that I want to show you is super, super complicated and technical. But the reason that I wanted to show you it is so that you can see how extreme these automations can get, especially when they're built by a AI automation company like mine. They're not always just 3 or 4 module simple automations. Sometimes they get super, super technical. For example, this one uses AI to analyze contracts. So when a new contract is signed on, let's say, DocuSign or whatever your e-signature platform is, it comes into this automation, and then AI analyzes every bit of it to figure out what type of contract it is. And then it uses that information as well as, who signed the contract to organize that document. So it's going to put it into their specific Dropbox folder or Google Drive folder or wherever you keep all your client documents. And it's going to keep everything organized for you by just putting all those documents into the correct folders. And then also even go a step further by emailing the client, maybe a congratulations email if they signed a new offer, or like a welcome to the team email if you just signed a new listing or whatever it is. So you can use an automation like this to sort of replicate your onboarding process or your document admin process to help you save a ton of time when it comes to managing all your documents. So without getting too technical, basically what's happening here is as a new document comes in, it is getting fed through AI to figure out what kind of document it is and what names are on the document. And then all these different paths here are different scenarios that happen based off of what type of document it is. So if it's a offer that was just signed, it's going to go down this path. If it's, an amendment or something more generic, it'll go there. If it's a listing agreement, it goes up here. If it's a new buyer agreement, then it goes up here. And then it's gonna, do a bunch of stuff inside of Dropbox, add that file in, rename the file to a, proper naming convention. And then it's gonna go and it's gonna send an email to the person. You can also keep adding on here if you want to, do things like update your calendar with the dates that are inside of that contract. There's a lot of different ways that you can continue on from there. There's a lot of different ways that you can, handle the data from there, but I more so just wanted to show you it so you can see sort of how technical they can get and how powerful they can be when you really learn how to use the platform, or when you hire, an AI development company to build out these automations for you. This is another really simple one that you can build yourself. Doesn't take too long. Basically, this just watches my email for when I get showing confirmations. So if I request a showing and it gets confirmed, this watches my email for that confirmation showing. Then it's going to send that through AI to figure out what the property address is and the date and time and all that. Now, you don't have to use AI modules here. You can use email parsing modules, which is going to grab specific text out of there, but it's a lot more technical, so you can just use AI as well to sort of read the whole thing and take that data out of there. And then it's going to go into my calendar and it's going to put that showing on my calendar for me, so that I don't have to book my showing and then go to my calendar and add it in. Instead, it just does it for me. Here's another really simple one that we made for a client who has a specific form that users fill out online. And when somebody fills out that form, it then adds it to an Airtable database so that they can keep track of all the responses, and then also adds that client to MailChimp so that that person can start receiving all of their nurturing emails. So just super, super simple. And it's going to save you whatever, maybe it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes for each time that somebody fills out a new form that you would normally copy and paste all their data into a spreadsheet and then add their email and their first and last name into MailChimp. Now you don't have to do that. It's just going to automatically do it for you every time somebody fills out that form. This is that lightning bolt thing that I was telling you about before. This just means that when somebody fills out a form, it instantly triggers this automation rather than Make.com having to check back every 15 minutes or whatever. So hopefully that overview of Make.com and automating different systems was helpful for you. I'm sure now your brain is going about all the different ways that you can automate different things going on in your business. The last thing that we're going to do now is we're going to hop back into my computer and I'm going to show you what an AI agent is, what that looks like, how you can get started building one, and sort of give you some ideas as to what you could get it to handle for you. So now the very last thing that I'm going to show you in my computer is AI agents. I'm going to show you the platform that I think is the easiest to build very powerful AI agents. Now you can use Make.com and Zapier to build AI agents. Make.com, you got to kind of build them out manually, whereas I believe Zapier now, they have their Zapier agent tool that allows you to build tools inside of Zapier. I don't really think you could classify them totally as an AI agent. They're more of a smarter automation. But personally, the platform that I like to use to build any AI agent that I build either for myself or for our clients is in N8N. The reason for that is N8N is great with pricing. It allows you to get super, super technical and specific with the data that's coming in, how that data is being handled. Allows you to put in specific coding if you know any kind of computer code, which I assume that most of you won't, but if you do, then great. And nowadays ChatGPT can write a lot of that for you. How N8N works is kind of similar to Make.com, where it has this sort of same flow structure where you're connecting one piece to the other. But the difference here is that you can add in these AI agent modules, which sort of give the entire thing a brain and allow the AI to make the decisions of when to use certain modules and certain tools and how to use them and things like that. They've got a ton of integrations inside of N8N, and really it's just the best platform that I have personally used for building really, really intelligent and powerful AI agents. Now I understand that majority of you watching this are not going to want to teach yourself how to use a platform like this, and that is why companies like mine exist, to build out these AI agents and these automations for you. But in order to give you a good idea on what an AI agent is and what's possible, I'm going to show you one of my templates of an AI agent system that handles lead qualification. But real quick, before we jump into that template, let's just go over what an AI agent is. So an AI agent is basically an AI that has been equipped with specific tools and functionalities and instructions in order to be able to perform specific tasks. So think of it exactly like you would an employee. If you hired an employee, you're hiring them to do a specific job. But in order to do that specific job, you have to give them the tools that they need to accomplish that, right? If you hire somebody to send emails for you, you have to give them your email in order to be able to send those emails. That person has to have a laptop in order to send the emails. They have to have an internet connection in order to send the emails. You have to equip them with all these different tools and functionalities, as well as instructions on what they should be doing, how they should be doing it, when they should be using specific tools or platforms versus not. The idea of hiring an employee to perform a specific job is very, very similar to building an AI agent to perform a specific job or a specific set of jobs. But it's only been within the last 12 months, realistically, where AI has got to a point where it can handle all of these tasks without you having to really jump in and correct it. So now the AI is so intelligent that you can give it its set of instructions and all the tools that it can access, and then it will be able to determine when to use those tools, what information to pass into those tools, and all that kind of stuff. So the example that I'm going to show you is we set up an AI agent that is going to handle all the lead nurturing for a client. So anytime that a new lead comes into their pipeline, whether that be through Zillow, through Realtor.com, through somebody emailing them, through a text message, through a Facebook message, all these different channels that they have incoming into their pipeline, if at any point there's a new lead that comes in, this AI agent is going to detect that, and then it's going to go out and it's going to figure out how it needs to qualify that person based off of the information that it has, right? So let's say that a new buyer lead comes in through Zillow, but the only information that the person sent you was the person's name, their email, and their budget. So now the AI is going to look at that and it's going to say, okay, well, I still need to ask that person how many bedrooms they're looking for, how many bathrooms, are they looking for a specific neighborhood, a specific style of home. The AI is trained on how to qualify buyers or sellers, and then therefore it knows, okay, based off the information I have from this lead, I have to then ask these specific questions to that person. So if this starts to look really technical, I apologize. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can, but I just want to show you what's happening. So what we're looking at here is all these different colors, all these different groupings are basically different agents that handle different inbound sources. So for example, this green one down here handles any messages from Facebook or Instagram. This purple one handles any messages from new clients that are emails. This blue one handles anything from the chatbot that's on your website. Then this red one handles any text messages, and the yellow handles any new leads coming into your CRM. So if you have like your Zillow and your Realtor.com hooked up to automatically send leads into your CRM, then this one handles any new leads that enter your CRM. So this basically allows us to cover all of our bases here. So if a new lead goes into your CRM, no problem. If it gets sent to you via text message, no problem. If it gets sent to you on Facebook or Instagram, somebody reaches out to you on Facebook, no problem. On your website, you have a chatbot. Somebody's messaging you there. Hey, can you help me buy a house? AI's got it covered. And then, an email, if a new email comes in and the AI detects that this is a new lead, then it's going to start handling it from there. So we have all these different directions of leads coming in, and the AI just basically covers it all for you and starts qualifying them, asking all the questions that it needs to ask, and updating your CRM accordingly so that the only time that you need to reach out to that person is when they are fully qualified and ready to hear from you. As a real estate agent, you know how much time is being spent with, texting and calling and emailing these dead leads that aren't going to go anywhere. Maybe their expectations are unrealistic. Maybe they aren't pre-approved or they can't get pre-approved, or maybe they're just tire kickers and they're looking to ask the price of a property when they're not even interested in buying. All of that can get funneled away from you thanks to an AI agent like this, and it just takes care of all of it so that the only people that you have to spend your time talking to are the ones who are fully qualified and ready to buy. Now that criteria of being ready to buy or ready to sell, if you're dealing with listings a lot, that criteria is set by you. So you're telling the AI what it means to be fully qualified. Maybe the AI is going to ask 5 questions like bedrooms, bathrooms, size, price, and property type. Or maybe you wanted to ask 10 questions and you wanted to get really, really specific on neighborhood and types of flooring and number of cars that can fit in a garage or whatever it is. You can specify to the AI, here's the type of question you need to ask when it's a buyer or when it's a seller. Here's how you should know when that lead is fully qualified and ready to have me reach out to them. You're teaching this AI how to handle your leads so that it can do it for you just like you normally would. In the same way, if you hired an assistant to do all your lead qualifying for you, you would train them on what it means to be qualified, what type of questions to ask, all that kind of stuff. And AI agents like this can be applied to so many different things. It can be lead generation, lead qualifying, nurturing your leads, marketing, posting to your social media for you, just handling your email inbox, right? Like keeping all your emails organized and writing all the drafts to reply to your emails or even sending the responses for you. You can do an AI agent to handle your CRM so that it's adding new leads for you and updating leads, right? Maybe you're constantly on the go doing showings and you want to just send a voice note to the AI agent to update a leads notes section in your CRM. You can do that as well. There's so many different ways that you can use an AI agent. And, like I've said 10 times throughout this video, just think of the AI agent as your employee. What would you be hiring an employee to do to take off of your plate? And usually you can have AI do all of it, if not most of it. Now, if you're looking at all of these different kind of octopus things inside of N8N and thinking, what the heck's going on? I'll just give you kind of a quick rundown just so you have sort of an idea of what's happening here. So it starts off with the trigger, just like a make.com automation. The trigger then sends that information down a path to the AI agent. You can think of this white rectangle here as like the AI's brain, where the AI then looks at the information that was sent to it and says, okay, how should I handle this situation? What do I need to do here? So it has this, which determines sort of what kind of brain it has. In this case, we have it connected to OpenAI. We have this one, which is its memory, so that it can sort of remember what has happened 3 messages ago or 5 messages ago or whatever with that particular person. So let's say it's a text message with the client going back and forth. It can remember all the previous text messages that it had with that person. So it has some context as to what to talk about and how to respond. And then you have all these ones under here, which are its tools that the AI can use. So maybe that's updating a CRM, maybe that's emailing somebody, maybe that's going to Perplexity and doing some market research to tell the person, what type of pricing is happening in the area. These are all tools that you give the AI access to using. And then this last one here is just the output response. So this is just what sets the response that the AI is giving back to the person. That might be via text message or email or Facebook Messenger or whatever. But this last one is just the response that it gives back. And then, you can see with all the different incoming sources of leads, it's handled a little bit differently with different tools and that kind of stuff. But it basically just allows you, for this particular template, allows you to have AI handle all your lead qualification for you so that you don't have to worry about it. So hopefully that wasn't too technical or too confusing and gave you sort of an idea on how you can use AI agents and how you can build them inside of a platform like N8N. All right, so that's it, guys. Hopefully this video gave you a bunch of ideas of how you can automate different systems and processes in your business and why you should be using AI to automate different parts of your business. Because at the end of the day, the job of being a realtor is not about, pushing papers and answering emails. It's about servicing your clients in the best possible way and helping them buy and sell real estate. And obviously there's a lot of things that go into that, but you can probably automate 80% of it. so that you only have to focus on the top 20% activities. If building an AI system in your business is something that interests you, my link is in the description below. You can book a call with me and my team. We can talk about what's possible in your business and just kind of explore, what tools you're using, what can be automated, what can't be. We love talking to real estate agents and just, figuring out how we can use AI to streamline your business and save you tons of hours every single week. There's also a couple other links below. There's also a couple other links below to our website and to a free AI roadmap that we built for real estate agents, just to give you even more of an idea of how you should be using AI in your business. But other than that, drop me a comment below, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed for more real estate AI content. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support, and we'll see you in the next video.